my hat.
I think the walkings are going to be a part of the show. I love the start of
I
this.
think I got it.
Walking into
Oh, crap.
Lanny McDonald. You were landing it.
I don't know. I got
That's impressive.
more than Lanny. Lanny never had legs like this. Whoa, that goes way up there.
All the way up.
I knew it went into my ear.
That's just weird. Uncle Gramma story time.
Hey.
Episode 3.
Hey.
Welcome to it. I am not Uncle Gramma. He is. And so is she, he?
Yeah.
He.
They.
Episode 2, we talked about that incredible logo creation. Compliments of Skynet.
Yep.
Love Skynet.
Love a good net.
The worst. So if you're new to the show, we hang out and he tells stories. And it's not like most, dare I say, shows that tell stories. They have so many layers to them. And that is what got me so intrigued by this little idea of yours to start this thing, because boy, oh boy, there's a lot of stories.
Well, yeah, like when you say layers, is that a bad thing?
No,
Because
it's
sometimes
very
it
good.
can make people fall asleep.
Dude, how can anyone fall asleep? Look at the intro you just did. How can anyone fall asleep to this? People are probably still laughing at that. That was mind-boggling.
Bottling?
Yeah, it puts your mind in a bottle.
I've never heard that. I say mind-boggling all the time.
Boggling. Oh, you're one of those guys. You're a boggler.
But now I guess what is a boggling?
Mind-boggling. A boggle, I believe, like knocking it around.
Bottling makes more sense. I don't know why I've been saying boggling.
Is boggle the game where you hit the... or it's where you shake it and throw out? Boggle.
Boggle was the
Yeah.
wasn't
Okay.
it?
Probably not.
Thing in the middle with the snap and it goes stick.
I think I remember playing Sorry like that.
inside of a thing.
They don't do those anymore. The dome pushers?
Yeah,
Yeah. It pops the dice for you, the
that
die.
wasn't boggle.
Probably was.
Mind boggled. So that's exactly what I always picture is that.
Yeah. Me too. Very interesting.
Nice.
So, again, stories. Mine's being bottled. The biggest question that I've received since we've started this little thing, and I've been promoting Uncle Gramma's story time, everyone always says, so is he an uncle or a grandma? And then I laugh thinking I'm Mr. Smart Guy until I realize that I have no idea. I do know your real name,
Yeah.
which plays into that. But the Uncle Gramma name as a whole, I think that's where we're going to go on today's episode, because I feel like there's a lot of, see this, layers to that gaining of said nickname.
Yeah. There is layers. There's
Here we go.
Well,
Prove it.
I added the uncle for the title,
I love
and
it.
because I do have nieces and nephews,
So you are an uncle. That is confirmed.
and they know that my nickname is Grandma, and they think it's hilarious because I have a beard,
So you are a grandma.
and they have called me Uncle Grandma once or twice, and it's
amazing.
kind of funny.
It's hilarious. There is a cartoon, I believe, called Uncle Grandpa.
Really?
Yeah, and it's insane.
Oh,
it's like a mushroom trip, dude. It's super weird.
I was so into TV and everything, and like I'm pretty sure up till about 10 years ago when everything's mostly streaming and all this.
Yeah.
But like I pretty much knew every channel, all the things that were happening. Like I've considered myself pretty on top of that. But like yeah, right now it's just bizarre. There's so many shows
much.
I don't know.
It's too much.
And I feel like an old man because like, you know, you'd say something to your dad or your uncle when you're a kid. It's like, oh, do you know this show? It's like they knew what you were talking about.
Of course.
They're just like, how does this kid know?
It's because there are only a couple shows.
Yeah. And now it's just like that an older generation has not known what the hell we've been watching for a really long time.
Technically?
And it just makes me feel old. So kind of like a grandma.
Technically, looking at it, we here on this very show right now are just as legitimate as the rerun of Beverly Hills 90210 you'll see on TV.
That's awesome. Stupid sideshow Luke Perry. It's just
R.I.P.
sideshow.
R.I.P.
Oh, yeah. Oh, crap.
His son's a great wrestler.
Really?
He was. He used to be Jungle Jack Perry, and then he turned into the scapegoat Jack Perry.
You've
and he's
seen
trying to be
him wrestle?
Dude, he's rolling with like the elite, the greatest tag team of all time, Nick and Matt Jackson, the Young Bucks, bro. Jungle Jack Perry is.
So you've been
with
paying
him.
attention to this the whole time. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's crazy. They call him one of the 4 pillars of AEW. Anyways.
Oh, this is okay. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know.
You thought I was talking about the Beverly Hills 90210 fan club?
It's Shannon Doherty. And that's
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Ah!
Dude. Beverly Hills.
Well, there goes their one fan.
More like 90210. No. Oh. Sorry, the humor is falling out of us today.
Yeah.
So Uncle Gramma. This
well,
name.
yeah, the uncle I gave right before the podcast, so that's new. But Grandma
That's
kind
good.
of stems from, I can't remember. It must have been I think it was at a jam session, not a party or anything like that. It was at a jam session with the band Sparky.
Yeah,
when we were younger. I would have been 18 or 19 years old. Or something like, might have been 17 or 18.
So
I'm not really sure.
Up until this point, no one had called you Grandma before.
No. Like,
why'd you say it like that?
well, it's just no. That there's no inkling of that. I grew up in Kalonze.
Shout out to Kalonze.
And
my grandma and grandpa. My dad lived there for a while.
We talked about this.
We have.
That's
we
awesome.
bonded over this. Shout out. We love Kalonze. I should get a Kalonze cup. Mom's from Bigger.
Oh yeah, everything's bigger. There.
New York is also big.
So
Home of the Hanson buck, by the way, biggest buck ever shot.
really,
Yeah, they got a big stuffed. Well, not stuffed. I guess it'd be like a life-size version of them right when you turn into town.
yeah, you got to show it off.
It's very impressive. So Kalonze, growing up, no one
yeah.
ever called you Grandma.
Isle of the Prairies. I dressed as unique as I could in a small town. I always thought
Hold
dressing weird was.
Give
was
us an
the
example.
way to stand out because everyone's just in jeans and shirts, right? So
What were we wearing?
Shop at Valley Village and buy old man pants. I always call them old man pants or grandpa pants.
Hold on, what do they
And,
look
like,
like?
Just literally old man dress pants. Like that's
Like
what I wore when
slacks.
I was like 13.
You were
14
wearing
years.
slacks.
And I had weird shirts and odd things, and I'd always buy a weird hat and like always had weird stuff. And I tried
makes
to
me so
stand
happy.
out in
Yeah.
a class of 8 people. You know, like kindergarten to grade 11, I left. But
Did they ever call you weird?
yeah,
You were the weird guy?
no, but I was definitely
like it.
weird, and like it would.
And weird's not a bad
everyone
thing.
would look
I
at me
love
as like,
weird.
why are you doing this?
Yeah,
I'm like,
weird is way better than boring.
why not? I'm like,
That's it.
okay, you're
Why aren't
just
you,
a
bro?
weird guy. And I was like, yeah, who cares? And I don't know. I was not like we were all kind of the same because we were so young.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just
And
we didn't even have nicknames for each other. Like
It's like family out there.
Some you did, but they were more digs. So we didn't call each other. We'd call each other by our names, but if you call that one guy the one name that you gave him,
Yeah.
it's because you're making fun of him at that moment.
Ripping on them.
Yeah, only then. And I don't know nicknames weren't a big thing, but I don't know. When I came to the city, I started hanging out with those guys a lot more. And one thing I noticed is like I hadn't really I grew up in a pretty condensed town there with a small group of friends, but we played hockey and baseball and all this stuff against all these surrounding towns. So we actually did have a pretty large group of friends by middle of high school. Like we were partying and hanging out with people from all these different towns. So we had a relatively large group of friends. It was just spanning tens of, if not 50-kilometer radius of our own town. So
That's a lot.
When I moved to the city, our graduating class at Evan Hardy, when I went there, I think was like 230 or 240. I had met 40 of those people during that time. And like some of the guys that I met like on the first day and second day, I can't even believe how lucky I was to even meet these people. In hindsight, it was just like, let alone on the first day of school, it was like
Lifelong bros.
yeah, well, I had acquaintances. Like we're not like the best of friends or anything like that, but they were very nice to me moving into that school. And it was
love
like
kind people.
there's 2 guys, Ryan and Ewan from the Sheepdogs,
There you go.
and a guy named Danny Papadatos. He's like, I think he was Mr. Gay Canada at one time. Like this, those 3 people right there.
Hold on.
I think that he won some kind of a thing. He works for like I think City TV or like a major network in Toronto. He's a very awesome guy. Very, very awesome guy.
There is a Mr. Gay Canada?
Oh, yeah.
How have I not known this?
I don't know.
I would love to meet Mr. Gay Canada.
Somebody had posted that a while back.
That's incredible.
Anyway.
Hell yeah.
That first day going to that school, I was just like, there's a lot of nice people here. Yeah. And every once in a while, I would meet another nice person, but I wasn't necessarily hanging out with people at school.
Yeah.
I had a group of musician friends, which ended up being the guys surrounding around Sparky, that band. And the band that I was currently in, we were called Unreal. It's all the guys, they're all from Langham. And we all kind of grew up in small towns and then moved to the city. And then we hung out a lot. And I would hang out with kind of those two groups. And then, every once in a while, meet new people at school and still go home and hang out with my friends that I grew up with. And
it's a lot of moving around.
Oh yeah. Just in my grade 12 year, I was constantly not at home. I was always somewhere else. Anyway, because of this, I became an avid storyteller. It was kind of how I made friends, was I remember a lot of things, and I would tell people from the city about my small town friends and small town friends about the new people that I'm meeting in the city. And
city folk.
I always seem to end up repeating some of the same stuff to different people when you get into these social interactions.
Yeah, I could see that.
And it's literally like, I get why this nickname hit at the time, because I think we were at a jam and everyone had a nickname. The bass player, Tim, had grown up with a nickname, and Neil, the singer, was Niels. He had a Z on the back of his name.
Nice.
But then
that's sick.
The guitar player, Chris, and myself didn't really have like solid nicknames, or didn't grow up with solid nicknames.
What did people call you until this point?
Just by my last name, like, for the most part. Okay. Like, Templeman's my last name. Yeah. So I got a lot of Templeton when I was a kid. Templeton the Rat, like from Charlotte's Web.
Okay, that's a real thing. I thought it was just something.
I always thought this was funny for, like, grade 6, 7, 8. Yeah. In the hallways, it was always move. So I figured that was my nickname for a lot of years.
Why did that take me so long to get it?
I don't know.
I think I thought you said moo.
Moo.
But move would make more sense. God, that's a good joke. I thought you weren't a comedian.
I just
continue.
That was a nickname.
I'm slowing you down. Move.
So by this point, we were sitting there. It's like, well, I had gone through a couple nicknames I had. They're like, we're not calling you Rat. We're not calling you this or that. And you can't put just Grams with a Z. It's like kind of like a drug dealer rat name. It was like that doesn't really work. And I'd mentioned to Chris at the time, I was just like, that's the thing about my name, is like, my name's Graham. Call me Graham. There's a lot of people that call me Graham. And I don't know if that's a defect in how you speak, or if you got bad ears, or
Graham.
It's Graham.
Graham.
Yeah, there it is. That's my name. Don't wear it out.
Do you have to say to people, like Insta?
I've never in my life
I'd
corrected
be so mad.
Anybody on that
ever. Too nice.
Up until this point, because I was like, well, Grams would imply that you pronounce my name Graham, which it's not Graham.
Sell me.
It's Graham. And Chris at the time would call me. He's like, Gray. And he's like, I can't do it. You're Graham. And I'm like, see, that sounds like you're saying Graham. And I was like, so you got to call me, something other than Graham. And he's like, okay, Grandma. You tell old lady stories like I'm standing at my grandma's house, like, at the front door for a half an hour trying to leave, and she keeps talking to you, and she keeps talking. It makes sense. And I'm like, okay. And they literally turned around to everybody, like, start calling him Grandma. Start calling him Grandma. Yeah. And we'd meet people at shows and stuff, and like hey man, my name's, hey, call him Grandma. It's like, can't even give him my full name. And that's that. But like I always thought that idea of like, yeah, no, that is me. My grandma was the same way. It would take us literally an hour to leave the house. And I've heard other people say the same thing, but we would get to the step and then we, as a family, we would all slowly back up to the door. And then eventually 5 minutes later, somebody would crack the door. And then one person would end up out on the porch until it was like a series of, now it's just dad on the porch and the rest
Same
of us
story?
are in a running vehicle.
Same story?
No, she's just saying bye.
Oh.
Like, it's the way it was.
That's just how it is, man.
So like I come from a history of elongated ways of explaining things.
Dude, I still...
Should come to Thanksgiving or Christmas sometime.
Hey, you invited
my
me.
family.
Thank you again to inviting me to your friends miss. I feel like I didn't know your real name for at least a good half a year.
Right.
You were just Grandma.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that was it. I wonder how many people are like that. Like right now they're watching. His real name's Graham?
Well, a lot of people, no one has ever asked.
That's
and
what
then
I
a lot
mean.
of people just kind of whatever. But yeah, there was a lot of people on, I guess, the internet when I had to put my full name on the internet. It was like, oh, that's your name. Weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
I lived that.
Never would have asked.
I lived that.
Yeah, that is kind
What a
of
good
weird.
story, man. I really appreciate that. And you embraced it right away, hey?
So, well, because then Chris had to come up with his nickname.
Oh, okay.
And we're all just like, well, you came up with mine. I got to come up with yours.
Oh, it's nicknames
And
are
he's
so
like,
hard,
he just, I think, I'm not sure if it was immediately or like we were coming up with names, this and this and this, and he was just like, just call me Balls. And I think we all did the exact same thing. It was just like, how did you do that?
Balls.
How did you come up with like one of the
Your own
best
nickname.
nicknames for yourself? Nobody does that.
It's
like that was.
Think
That's
about
good.
how
That's a
rare
good
that
one.
is, and then let me tell you this: our dragon around here, his real name is Ethan,
Oh yeah.
but when he started here, he commented that everyone here has a nickname. How come I don't have one? And then he was sitting right in that booth, and I was like, I don't know, dude. Like, what do you mean you don't have any nickname? He's like, no, I don't have one. It's like, well, what kind of nickname do you want? He goes, I don't know, something cool, like Dragon. And that exact same shit. I'm like, done. Hey, guys, it's Dragon now.
Love it.
To this day.
Love it.
He just got the name, and we were at the Anime Con that was in town here, the Ganbate Anime Convention at TC Place, and I was walking with him, and this dragon right here was sitting at a table with some other dragons. There were adult dragons, and there was junior dragons. One was like whatever, and then this one was worth
This
more.
is real life.
This really happened.
Okay.
And I'm standing at this booth with this person selling these dragons, and I look at Dragon, and I look at the lady, and I go, that's so crazy. She goes, what? I go, I have a dragon too. And she just looks at me like, what are you talking? And poor Ethan, he's 19 years old. He's just like, oh my God. He does that one. And I'm like, yeah, no, this is my dragon. He's an adult dragon now. He just turned 19.
Oh, a dragoon.
And then the girl looks at me like I just smashed her table. Like she's like disgusted. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'll make my way out.
Quit insulting my life.
10 minutes later, I still felt so bad, I went back and paid $35 for this dragon. And she was so happy to sell it to me.
That's fantastic.
But Dragon, the only guy I'd ever met in my life that made his own nickname for himself.
yeah,
It's all about the timing, and it's all about
It
like
is.
the what you're into at that time.
do
Like,
you
oh,
do you
it's
know,
so cool.
or are you one of those people? I believe you to be one of these people, but do you know any other people who are immediately amazing at nicknames? Who are just like, oh, look at this guy, and just bang.
Bang.
As soon as you meet him, oh, nice to meet you.
Dude, I did that to
This-
Bobby Goodtimes.
Really?
My buddy, Brett, this is a great story too. We're at our, man, there's so many nicknames in this story.
I seem to remember there being a lot of nicknames
Yeah,
around.
man. This
your
is the
group of
tangent
friends.
now too that we can end on. It's perfect. We always like to end with a totally unrelated
Oh, yeah.
tangent. So we're at our buddy Tugger's place. Tugger's staying at his
Love it.
parents' house, and all the boys were there, like Fridge Rack and guy number one and the rest of the boys, like Cousin Jeffrey, all these incredible dudes who I love
His
so
name's
much.
probably not Jeffrey.
And then, actually, he's the only one. He's not my cousin, though. He also goes by Cobbler. Shout out to
Alright, there you
Broadway
go.
Shoe Repair.
Yeah, the old
And
shoe
so everyone's passed out at the party, and it's the next morning. And I walk downstairs at Tugger's place, a beautiful basement. It's like a beautiful, big, stately
Boat?
manor down on Sask Crescent, like a glorious house.
Does it look like a tugboat?
No.
All right.
No. So I go downstairs, and everyone's strewn everywhere. And our buddy Brett's on the couch. He's got 1 foot up here with a shoe on,
Oh, yeah.
and 1 foot down here with no shoe.
He's a straddler.
I guess so.
Yeah.
And I look at him, I go, holy shit, boys. Who invited Bobby Goodtimes over here? Instantly. I don't even know what his nicknames were before that, but everyone lost it laughing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's it.
He looks
And
like
he's been Bobby Goodtimes ever since, to the point
He looks like he's modeling for a fireman's calendar.
it was really something. His fantasy football draft that he runs, that I'm a part of,
Yeah.
is called the Bobby Goodtimes draft.
And so it's stuck. So you are that guy.
Apparently I am, and I don't feel like I am because I never put work into it.
Well, you called me Gma for a very long time.
Gma.
too. And like and put twists on
Trying to mix it
the
up.
thing. And
Yeah.
it's like I love that.
I
Like
don't know. Do you know any other people that are sort of like us?
Uh,
Really weird.
Porno Al.
Porno Al.
He's the guy. Like it's same thing. He can twist a name around. He can twist that at just
Add to it the quickness.
yeah. And then it's
Yeah.
not just him. It's also him and his group of friends. That's also where I think that has a lot to do with, especially when you're younger, your formative years, how much you actually vocally interact with a group of friends, whether it be
Yeah.
a team that you've become friends with, or if it's a small group of guys who like playing video games, or if it's, guys who just go out riding bikes. Like the more vocal you seem to be, there's always kind of like there's a battle happening.
Yeah.
It's, if you never talk, you're probably not going to hang out with everybody very much.
Yeah.
So like
No, that makes
being
perfect
forced
sense.
to talk by just
Being
talking-
around.
Yeah, and talking shit, you develop like kind of the same types
Witty
of
banter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the wittiness, I think, when we were younger, in our age group of people, in our teen years, we were trying to make our dads laugh
Yeah.
because they made us laugh with the dirty things that would end up coming out of their mouths.
Yeah.
It's just like we're not allowed to say stuff like that. But
Naughty words.
my uncle or my dad said this joke to this guy, and it's just like you connected with them so much. So then when you were old enough to say crazy shit, you
That's
were
it.
totally going to do it, or super witty things. So I think that snappiness it might even be due to small populations too, because there are a lot of people from Saskatchewan are like this.
Yeah.
This is it. I'm not saying there
true.
isn't people everywhere like it, but like
Maggie
a lot
cameo.
of Saskatchewan people seem to have this ability to just
Maybe it's because
rip quickly.
I think you explained it perfectly. I can't even
Well,
go on
like
that.
when I was growing up, there's a guy named Colin. Not going to
Colin.
say his last name, but if you're ever watching this, or anybody from Colonze's watching this, you probably know who I'm talking about. And him and his brothers are some of the fastest, quick-witted people I've ever met. And it must have come from the uncles, the dads, like everybody, because those guys are even faster. And it's just like,
Yeah.
it seems to be that there may be a dumbing down of all of us, and we're getting a little bit slower in the wit.
I don't
But,
know
like,
any kids
growing
that are
up,
witty.
Like I remember him holding court in the school, and basically like in a hallway of the entire high school, a kid in grade 8 or grade 9 could roast anyone, and everyone's just like, bah! Like he had it. He knew how to just quickly roast somebody. So kudos to you, Colin,
Yeah.
because like you really kind of started me off on a path of being made fun of, like because no one's safe. Everybody got it.
That's it.
And being made fun of a lot is actually extremely, I don't know, what's the word? Motivating.
There it is.
Because it motivates you to come up with something faster.
get back.
So then I was the slow kid because it would be just like, hey, you dumb asshole or something like that. And I'm like, hey, give me like 5, 10, just stay there. Don't you stay there. Shut up. Bang. Like, and that's who I was for the longest time.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't ever get it out. So when I do get it out now, that's why I also believe I have long form everything. It's because now I got your attention.
There it is.
Keep paying attention to me.
I will say, Coach Mazer and guy number 1 are 2 very quick-witted guys as well. They come up with a lot of nicknames for a lot of the boys. It's rare. I love, and I'm just like I love being around those guys.
Yeah.
Because you, like you say, you feed off it.
Yeah. Well, like, and growing up, everybody that I knew above me all had nicknames. There's a guy named Pee Wee, and he's big. And there's, a guy named Ogre, and he's also big. It's like, so it's not like a whole thing, and then, the other guy, Gomer. That was,
That's a great name.
Yeah. Not very nice.
No,
because
mean
he
name.
also wasn't very smart.
Oh boy.
Okay,
I don't endorse that one.
And then
I don't like when it's hurtful,
But
it depends on the
weird
person
ones
too, I guess.
It's usually the older brothers that give him the nickname
So
in
they're
front of
always
everybody.
brutal, yeah.
And then everyone calls him that. It's like, oh wow, poor guy.
That's your name,
Yeah,
eh?
that's your name now. But
Dang.
just and then you'd play hockey against other guys, and you'd see how
Hockey
if they
nicknames.
had one of those dudes, and they usually did.
Dude, the
and
hockey
so your
guys.
guy and their guy chirping
Yeah.
is just like, this is where we all learn how to do this.
I got another guy, my buddy Brixie.
Yeah.
Ooh. That dude, this is how you know he's good. He'll go online, or at least he used to. He probably doesn't anymore, but he'd go online and play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Mic on, talking to everyone else.
Yeah.
What tink? You're dead. What tink? You're dead. Oh,
Oh,
and
I
just
hate
chirping the
those
whole way.
guys.
Yeah, that's the
I
chirper.
already don't like this guy.
But he's amazing. I love him. Like, he's such a good dude.
Great.
But watching him do that, when he does that, it's like, oh, that guy can chirp. And he can chirp. He can go. And it's so funny.
Yeah,
Shout out to Brixie, man. That's my dude.
I've broken my friend Mark's.
Being on the other side,
Thing.
that's a very angry place.
And again, Mark's last name. I'd love to say his nickname. Can't.
Don't tease it, yeah.
And can't say his nickname. His brothers have the same nickname. His dad's got uncles. Everyone's got the same nickname because it has to do with their last name. But I still can't say it. It's not of this time.
Here.
Yeah.
Dang, bro. Anything else? It's been a very
Maybe
good
one of
episode.
these.
Hell yeah, we love to finish with that. Episode 3.
What do we do though?
Last time I had a funny one where I was like, But then we did a Steven Seagal one last time where it was like super strong. And it was like, ooh, and then you break the neck. That's how you Seagal it. You go,
Oh, my niece did something like, I can't remember what she did. Or is it like, I don't know, it was like egg.
oh, I've had people do that to me before. It feels like the yolk. Brixie does that. Egg and
so
then
gross.
yolk. That's pretty good. Pretty creative.
Yeah.
All right, say one more funny thing before I turn off the record button.
I can fit my mustache completely into my nose.
Prove it! Is he doing it?
One's almost in there.
What a great way to fit it.
How do I get it in there? If you ever want to get tickled by my nose hairs, $100 on a Patreon.
Hold on. Oh, no. I was going to zoom in on it.
It's ticklish. Have you ever put your own mustache into your own nose?
No, why would you do that?
I don't know. Yeah. It's like at-home COVID test. Oh, that's gnarly looking.
Look at that.
Ugh, now I'm wiping it in there. Oh, hey! Uncle Gramma's at-home, homemade
Come on.
mustache wax.
Hold on.
It's your own snot.
Nothing you can
Wiping it in there.
Why would it poke it?
Wiping
There you go. There you go.
Because it's too gorgeous. Too sexy! There's no soup in it.